Problem number 68. Which bond in each pair is more polar, that is, has the larger electronegativity difference between the atoms? And so you're given several pairs, and I've rewritten them over here. So to answer this question, we need to know the electronegativity difference between the two atoms in each bond, so between these two and then between those two. And we can use figure 4.4. So using figure 4.4, let's just go ahead and calculate those differences for all 6 of these bonds, silicon and oxygen. Silicon is 1.8, oxygen is 3.5. If you take 3.5 minus 1.8, that's a difference of 1.7. So 1.7, I'll write above the bond. And oxygen is more electronegative, so the electrons are being pulled towards the oxygen. Okay, silicon versus sulfur. Silicon and sulfur, that's a difference of 0.7. 0.7. 0.7. And sulfur is more electronegative than the silicon, so the electrons are still being pulled towards the sulfur, but not as much. And so we would say that this bond is more polar. So I'm going to, how would I want to do this? I would put a little check mark next to this one. Okay. Now, HF and HBr. So the hydrogen is 2.1 and fluorine is 4. So that's a difference of, let's see, 1.9. 1.9, and that's pointing towards the fluorine. And then HBr, 2.1 versus 2.8, that's a difference of 0.7. Okay, and the bromine is more electronegative, so the electrons are being pulled towards the bromine, but this bond is not as polar as the HF bond. So I'll put a check over here. And finally, carbon, boron, and carbon, lithium. Carbon is 2.5, boron is 2. So this one is 0.5. Carbon is more electronegative, so the electrons would be pointing towards it. And carbon, lithium. Lithium is 1. Carbon's 2.5. So that's a difference of 1.5. That's pretty large. 1.5. And that's pointing towards the carbon as well. And so the carbon-lithium bond is more polar.